Hi, folks. So I was trying to make this video earlier, but my my hubby decided he was going to call me. Um, Anyways, that's beside the point. So I was trying to explain that I wouldn't say I was reading a book, but there's a book that I'm listening to. It's an audio book, um, but I'm listening it to on something else, um, on an app, a different app. So the beginning of the story, they're explaining um, how a woman is going through depression and some other stuff, some a grieving wife, um, who's got two kids, young kids. They're not itty bitty, but they're still young. Excuse me. So they're explaining about how human beings, or shall I say women, because they're not really talking about too much about men, but I heard the same thing from something else explaining about how when we're stressed out, how we worry and then we stress, we're emotional, which that's common sense. But they were saying how the stress that we go through is causing autoimmune problems, which is just auto the immune disease or whatever again you want to call it. But it's messing with our bodies, our systems, and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, you know what? It's funny to hear this through something else that I heard this from, again, something else as well. So it's like it's connecting. And I was like, recently I've been telling myself, like, why isn't certain things happening for me or working out for me, especially when I'm someone who is, I'm not spiritual. I'm not heavily on it, even if like my soul feels like it's calling for it. And I like to dibble and dabble in it a little bit. Nothing bad at all. Just, the good stuff. But between witchcraft, hoodoo, voodoo, which I don't do the voodoo, I do more of the hoodoo and like witchcraft kind of stuff. Like, it's what I dibble and dabble into. And what I mean by that is, like, I like to read into it. I like to kind of get little tricks here and there. And I haven't really done the tricks just yet. Because, like, part of me is, like, nervous. But then when I want to, or I've even tried to dibble and dabble in it, just maybe, like, one or two things, something that's simple that I think I can do, it doesn't work out. And then I'm wondering why it's not working out. Now, some folks are saying that you got to pray. You gotta meditate. You got to ground yourself. You got to have intentions. You gotta manifest, and some other stuff. So I'm still trying to figure out, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I tried to make sure I gone back to praying a little bit more than like I used to before. I don't know if it's because I'm not saying it right, or I'm not putting enough oomph in it. I don't know. Like, I keep feeling like I'm missing something. I'm not doing something right. I don't know what it is. And due to the fact that I'm not deep into spiritualness stuff, I'm at the point where I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I just need to say fuck this and have people just do the working for me. So I've had witches do spell work for me. I've never had really anybody who does hoodoo do anything for me. So in reality, I'm at some point I might just break it down and just have them do it and see how that works. Because if their shit is stronger than a witch, then fuck it, I'm doing that because I'm tired. of a lot of shit, and I have questions that need fucking answer. And due to the fact that I have a lot of questions that need answering, because the frustration is just frustration up the ass. Okay? Like, seriously. Um, and where I'm going with this is because I feel like the reason why some shit's not working is, like, in the beginning when I was younger, I used to believe that it was either bad luck or somebody was putting some shit on me. Which in reality, I don't really know. Then you've got witches that I've had gotten readings from, but then they were stating that I was, people were putting shit on me, they were doing things to me, they were doing this, that, and the other. Or I got family members who had an agreement with, I don't know who, but somebody, and it's the cause, kind of it, which was like, all this shit just to say, okay, you need a cleansing, and a lot of them say, oh, you need cleansing, and then I pay for it from different people, because every time I look up, it's like, oh, well, you need cleansing, and I'm like, okay, obviously that person's cleansing wasn't good enough, then this person's cleansing is not good enough, and it's like, okay, if I need so much of a deep cleansing, then I need to find the right person who can just do it, get out the fucking way, and then we can move on to what needs to really be, what I'm looking for to need to be done. Because I just want to, I'm not asking for, I want to be happy. I got a man that I'm happy with. But the thing is, I'm not trying to sell my soul. I'm not trying to harm nobody. I just want, I don't say simple shit, but I'm looking for, how can I phrase it this way? I'm looking for just a couple workings, just to kind of go a little bit in my favor, just a smidgen, not fully, to the point where, again, I'm not hurting nobody, I'm not hurting me, him, or anybody else. Now, if you want to hurt somebody who deserves it, like a bad person, maybe, just maybe, because I mean, if the Lord is like, okay, go for it, especially my ancestors too, shit, then so be it. But if not, no. I'm not trying to have blood on my hands. I'm not trying to have bad juju or anything else on me or anyone that I love. Fuck that, no. So I feel like if I can find the right person who can help me out, who's not gonna fuck me over and gonna charge me an arm and a fucking leg, but I can get the shit done, then so fucking be it. Because in the book, again, like where I was going with this, is that it was expressing about like the stress that we go through messes with our immune system, messes with other things too, which I kind of already knew that, because it's like, that's before I knew about the autoimmune thing, I already knew that when you stress and you worry, it already causes stress within inside our bodies, brain, heart, and other organs and stuff in our body. And the only way you can detox that kind of shit, somewhat, kind of fixing it, is one, you got to stop distressing. Two, you got to eat better, at least a little bit better. You got to think better. You got to do better. And the only way you can do that is you literally have to force yourself into it. And I'm trying. I'm so much trying. But again, that's why I was explaining, excuse me, my nose is driving me nuts. My allergies or something is just going haywire. Anyways. So, I was explaining this to my hubby that I need to do better for myself, because I can't count on everybody. Like the people that swore up and down since day one, oh, well, if you need the help, you need to just say that you need the help. But then when you ask for the fucking help, they don't want to give you, it's not the fact that they don't want to give you the help, it's the fact that it's like either they just don't have it. They don't have the patience, they don't have the time, they don't have the money, they don't have the resources, none of that. And the ones that do kind of don't want to give it to you either, because they feel like, okay, if I give it to you, you might just do better than me. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make my life better for myself. And just say, I don't say screw you all, but kind of. That's kind of what I'm just like, you know what? Where the state that I live in now, that I've been here for, what, 7 to 8 years. I've totally actually forgot how long I've been here. And that's not good. That's not good. Like, my brain has been in a fog for the longest. I've been feeling a funk for the longest. I've been saying since I lived here before that I don't want to be here. This place is the type of place where you can visit as on a trip, you know, be a tourist and all kind of shit. Or if you got family, you know, visit family. That kind of shit. But unless you one of these people, there's really no reason why you really should be here. If you're anything like me, where I come from, like Jersey, Philly, somewhere completely else, this here is Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska. This place sucks ass. If you're not, I'm a bit of a city girl. I ain't fully city girl, but the shit that I've been around for a good chunk of my life is not this. Again, I've been here before, but I've never been here so fucking long like this. No. I was here when I was 5 because my dad was in service. And we didn't leave until I was like, 8? But I didn't pay attention to shit because in reality, I had my cousins, I had my brother, I had my parents, my grandmother, my auntie, my uncles, all that kind of shit. Things were fine. I didn't pay attention, and then like we left, and I was cool. And then I've been in Jersey all for the rest of my life, and then I came here again when I was in my early 20s, like early like beginning like 20s, and I was only here for like 1 year or a year and a half, and then I fucking left because grandma said she technically knew she was dying, and she was like, I need you to get the fuck out of here because I know this is not your home, this is not your place that you need to be. This place doesn't make you happy. It's not. She knew. She could sense it. So she told me, she said, you need to just be somewhere else. Because when I go, you don't. And you know what? I should have paid attention to that even further because I did leave. But I unfortunately I went through some shit. And I unfortunately had to come back here. Where my auntie was here. And she told me to just come and, she'd help me out and all this sort of shit. And that's what happened. But then she died. Just, a year ago. Going on 2 years, actually. And it's frustrating because I already knew I was in a funk, but the funk wasn't that bad. The funk has gotten even worse. And the man that I love and adore is in Africa. But the problem is, he doesn't even want to be in Africa because of the shit that's going on. Which makes sense. He's not my first man that I've been with who was African. But it's just the shit that I've understood, I've learned just over being from different, I've learned some shit. And don't get me wrong, you eventually go back home, because that's what he wants, but he also wants to experience other shit for himself too, which that makes sense too. So we have a plan to be somewhere else, but it's like the way the world is right now, where the countries and are going on and with the wars and all this other bullshit, it's just not good. So I want to get the fuck out of this country, United States. I want it to be easy the way like it used to be, because I should be able to leave whenever the fuck I want to leave. I if I have the documents, I have the documents. But at the same fucking time, you should have to pay an arm and a fucking leg to leave. It's taking people to find other people to make sure that they have the right documents, do the right things, the right paperwork, all this other shit. Just either aid to get to a different destination or move to the right place that they want to move to, and so much other shit. And I'm just like, you didn't need that before. But due to the shittiness we got going on in this country, we're fucked. Like, if you ain't got the money, you're fucked. Like, whether you middle class or you rich, you got it easier. Because in reality, you took the money that you were making, and you were able to say, okay, you know what? I need a passport. I need this amount of money to have my account or in my pocket. I need the right forms for this, that, and the other. And then again, you need the right people, so then you have to pay them. And then there's their fees. Like, you see what I'm saying? It shouldn't have to go that way. It shouldn't. And you got people out in this world who are like, oh, you know, like we trying to help you out, trying to get you out, but it's gonna cut. Like, if you really trying to help, like for real, trying to help a person or help people, especially like I wouldn't say my brown skin peoples, but kind of. If you just someone who's looking for a better life, but is not trying to screw over the other country you're trying to go to. Oh my god, my back. Because somebody was explaining about that too, where they were noticing that people who are middle class or people who got money, like rich folk, go to these different countries and try to pour their ways onto them in their own country, and that's fucked up. If you're going to leave the United States, you need to leave your bullshit and go to the country that you want to go to and learn and adapt to their ways, not the old ways you were in before. Don't take that bullshit from before and take it over there. Don't do that, because you're just making it look bad for the rest of us who don't have what you had or have, and then try to fuck them over. No. Some folks literally go over to other countries because they want a better life, for real, for them and their children, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to learn. I'm going to adapt to the way that they have it, how they want it, and all that shit. We're not trying to screw them and then screw our new home, because you got rich folks and middle class folks who are, yes, they want a better life, but you already had a better life because you had the money when you were over there. But you want to take your money that you had over there and take it this direction and be like, well, you know what? Now I can really do more. I can buy homes and like, okay, so same shit nonsense you were going where you were in the United States. You were buying homes and making a profit, and you were making, decent money to the point where you're like, well, if I go to this country, I could still do the same thing, but I could make probably a little bit more money, or my money can go bigger for its buck, and I can live a more comfortable life. Like, it sounds kind of good, but again, you're fucking them over instead of yourself, and you're just looking petty and greedy and all that kind of shit. And then you wonder why other countries look at us the way they do, feel the way they do about us. If you're gonna be greedy, lazy, and all this other rude bullshit, take your asses back to the United States. That just makes more sense. You want to be rude, disrespectful, and all this other shit, and turn, take the shit that you got from the United States over there, and then you can change their country to be what was in your head, which is pretty much the United States. Again, take your asses back to the United States, because there's no point. If you want a better life, better home, better experience, just being happy, not have to stress, not have to do a whole lot, not have to worry about just the shit you were worrying about when you were over in the United States. Just, again, if you're going to go to a different country, just suck it up and adapt to their ways, their lifestyle, and everything else, and then you'll be fine. Because then you'll get the comfort. You'll get the safetyness. You'll get all the shit that you technically want with the money you already had, and do it that way. Don't try to be rich in a different country when you're probably middle class over there. Don't get me wrong, there are some folks who are just not going to see it that way, but you're fucking over their countries. You're making the Americans that did come over to sit in their ways, you're just making them look bad, because they're just looking at them like, well, you came over here too, and you're just gonna probably be as bad as these, yeah, and that's just not the case. You're setting a bad name for folks. Don't do that. They already have bad names for us, but they were trying to give us an opportunity, a chance to escape from all the nonsense and bullshit and God knows whatever else. I wouldn't even say God knows, because there's a slew of things I can say, but I ain't got that kind of time. But yeah, so let's not. But to say what I'm saying is that I'm one of those people who I've recognized that for the longest. I have, and I'm trying to explain it to my man, because he just wants to, he thinks like, okay, well, we could just go to such and such, and we could have this grand old life. Well, technically my life could be a little bit more grander if I just come to you, but he feels like that's probably not the case. Like, as long as we're together, that's when the grandness will happen. I'm thinking like, it's not. I mean, it probably could, but in some way it's not, because he hasn't been to other places. I have. I also pay attention to what's going on in the news. I pay attention to what's also going in social media, of what's going on in the news and all this other shit. I pay attention. Not just the United States, but other countries too. What has been, shall I say, spread it out. So if I'm paying attention, then it means that I'm literally trying to make sure I'm trying to make sure I get a bang for my buck, as they kind of say. I try to make sure that if I do go to a different country, it's the right country. Okay? It's not just the fact that it looks pretty, No. I want safety. I want to make sure that there's health care. I can get a job, or he can get a job. We can get a decent home for ourselves and our children. All that. He's not doing that. And then he wants me to do the research, because, like, what also makes no sense to me, too, is like, okay, if you're in Africa, but there's people who are showing that they can get a job, or some of them can get a job, or some of them are finding ways to make that money to live at least a somewhat decent life, then what the hell? What am I missing? Why the dots are not connecting? Like, tell me something that I'm obviously missing something. So tell me what's going on. Where am I? Where am I not connecting the dots on this? Like, explain on. Because you got so many different countries in this one particular continent, but some people are making it, some people aren't. I don't know if it's because you ain't got the diplomas or the certifications. I get that there's a lot of people, so it's hard to have, you know, enough jobs. I get that. Um, I totally get that. But at the same time, you got some folks who are like, okay, they're able to leave, go somewhere else, understand like, okay, there's these other opportunities that I can do that's not going to break the pocket, that's not scheming, it's not scamming, it's not illegal, and it's to the point where they can save their money and then say, you know what, let me take my shit back home and then make a way for myself, just to mention, like, because I'm not understanding what the hell is going on. um but he's making it seem like it's just hard. So I'm just confused. I get that shit has gone up in prices for them too, but that's the same goes for us. He's making it seem like I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire, and again, I do understand why he would think that, but no, because I get paid paycheck to paycheck, and my check is way bigger than what they make or what they have. To them, yeah, I am a millionaire, but I'm not. I'm actually a lower class here. Trying to figure a way that I, at my age, can at least bump myself just a smidgen, just so I can say, you know what? Let me at least send some of my money either back home, or I shouldn't say back home because it's not my home yet, but it's kind of my home because I do have a apartment with the man. But just understand that it's like, okay, if I'm able to send some of my money, and our plan is to, you know, build a bigger home for ourselves so we don't have to worry about an apartment. Um, have a business, which he has a business, but the thing is, it's just it's on the it's on hold right now because we don't have the funds to furnish completely the the place. And again, it's hard, which again also makes it hard to understand this shit because in different areas it doesn't seem to be like my ex is from Cameroon. This mofo lives here and he is a United States, citizen now. Been that way for I don't know, 10 or plus more years. And this man has already he's already got a complex, like a building, like a apartment complex where people rent. He's got a house that was already built. Um, but he has no business over there. He has like no business over there. But he's got a house, he's got property, all that kind of shit. He's able to send money back to his siblings so they can do what they need to do to help with the house and all this other shit and whatnot. They have internet. I mean, like the whole, like they have the shit. But then when you go to Nigeria, that's just not possible. Now, babe has got he's got family where mom and dad and siblings where they got their life, but it's like, why is it hard to take the same thing my ex is doing to build his shit, but if I give that kind of shit to my dude, he can't seem to build shit. Like, how bad is it with Nigeria compared to Cameroon? Don't get me wrong, I was told, but again, that was years back. I don't know what it's like now. That part I don't know. But if y'all think my check that I make from work is like millions, how much is building materials to build a fucking house? I'm confused because y'all shit is so much better than what ours is. Like the apartment I live in right now, the walls are paper fucking thin. I hear so much banging going on in this bitch. It's not even funny. I shouldn't even have to. I've lived in apartments where I didn't have to hear pipes or whatever banging that I am hearing lately, um, as clear as it is here. The stress that I go through in this state, in this apartment, mind blowing. Absolute mind blowing. Um, and I shouldn't have to. When I was in the lower 48, what I mean by that, I mean Jersey, I didn't have to go through this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I struggled and I stressed, but not as much as I do here in Alaska. The shit people get away with when it comes to the companies, ridiculous. Like nobody really, you have rules, but they don't follow they don't really follow the rules, and the ones that they try to push to follow the rules, they don't push others. So like if someone already works there, they get their friend in, and they've been lazy, and they know their friend can be lazy, you just make just yeah, and they get away with all kinds of shit. Yeah, it's sad, and they still have a job. They don't get written up. They might get talked to. They might not. It's all kinds of shit that this just goes on badly here. They find however way they can to scheme the fuck out of you for your benefits, for your work hours and your paychecks and all that kind of shit. There's so much shit. There's companies, there's businesses that have been open, but they can't last long here. They will close up in like maybe a year or two, maybe a little bit longer, but you will never see it last for a long period of time. Mm-mm. And that's sad. And that was before COVID. And then when COVID happened, then of course even more. And then now COVID is over, and then you got this other shit going on. It's shit's still happening. Like, what the fuck? The only people who enjoy this shit is people who've been here all their lives and have never left here. The closest thing that for them as a vacation is going to the village. They never really left Alaska. So they have no fucking clue. And then the ones who have left Alaska, they get a glimpse, but then it's like they like the laziness. So they leave. They didn't like that they were pushed to do more and better, and their dumbasses just came back. They like the laziness. Like the bullshit is real. I'm not one of these people. I will never claim Alaska. You will never say that I'm an Alaskan. Yes, I live here, but I'm not one of these people. Never have been and never will be. Again, I can live here, but you will never find me claim this shit. I will claim Oklahoma, because that's where I was born and somewhat raised there. I will claim Jersey. I didn't before, but I damn sure will now. Philadelphia, and so many other places that I lived, I'd rather claim than this bitch. Because the things I could tell you from those places to this place here, And again, the shit that goes on in this country alone, I damn sure don't want to claim. My friend is from Trinidad. Well, she's not from Trinidad. Her family's from Trinidad. Let me phrase it that way. But her blood that runs in her is Trini. We went to Trinidad for like 2 weeks for a family reunion for her and her family. And the shit that I heard from these people saying about what Americans are like, the first thing in my head was like, you know what? They're fucking right. It was sad that it took me to go to Trinidad to hear this shit. I wasn't expecting that. I was not. But it gave me a fucking wide opening part, because I was like, I didn't think about it, but in reality, it was always there until I heard one of them say it, and I was like, ain't that a bitch? Ain't fucking lying. Americans are this, Americans are that, Americans are this, Americans are that. And I was like, you know what? They fuck you damn sure. Yep. And trying to explain it to my man. He hears me, but he ain't really deep down like getting me. You know what I'm saying? He understands some shit, but he really doesn't understand me. But again, He won't know that because he's never been here. He's never had the experience. And I'm sure that if he did, he either A would be feeling hurt, disgust, and I mean he gonna tough it out because in his head he thinks being a man means you stress. And I already explained to him today. Just stressing does not make you a man. There's other things. He says I'm not trying to be a man. He said I'm already a man. I'm like, okay, that's okay. His mentality, again, he's smart, but sometimes I'd be like, you ain't all the way bright, but you a little bit bright. I mean, he's more than a little bit bright. He is bright, but it's just, and I feel like that's all of us in reality. Even a fucking genius ain't all the way there. Everybody on this planet is not all there. We all have something in our head that this ain't quite right. Like, you're smart, but you're stupid at the same damn time. It just depends on what level you're at. That's how I feel. We all have a stupid meter in our body. Same thing goes for the smartness. It just determines, like, are you imagining? Are you this? Are you that? Yeah. 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 And I can feel it sometimes. I like one of the things that irks my soul is one of my pet peeves is stupidness. People who don't use common sense when something is very just use your brain. Just connect the damn dots. Today it was like that at work. Due to donors to just coworkers. And I'm thinking, like, why? But again, they don't use their common sense. My boss, he's the same thing. He'll ask something, he'll say something, and then come back and say something that I already said. And I'm thinking, like, I already mentioned that. Why didn't you connect the damn dots? Again, no fucking common sense. You're smart, but you're fucking stupid. As much as this man likes to do, like, research on shit and like do a lot of reading, but again, smart but fucking stupid. I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if like, what the fuck I don't care if you work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, or whatever. It doesn't matter what you do in life. There's always something that's going to be stupid. I don't care. Like, I had a boss. This was like a couple jobs back. She's blonde, but she even she says to herself all the fucking time when she does something stupid. She says, oops, I had a dumb blonde moment. She literally will admit that her blondness has caused her stupidness. I mean, it's a joke, but at the same time, it's like, it's coming out. Like, it is the truth. Your dumb blondness is kicking in. Like, that may be a myth, but it's kind of the truth. Like, yeah. I'm going to stop this right now because I'm at the end to my timing, but I might have a part 2. I might. Bye.